Just look here. Murray, Murray, Murray. Come on, come on. No, 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 no. Look here. There. Gotta add a cool little filter. Here. There we go. Hashtag my cat is cool. Oh! You're doing the Instagram like Kayla from 8th grade. I don't know a Kayla from grade 8. Does she go to another school or something? No. It's from movie 8th grade Kayla. I think you should do a review for it.
8th Grade was directed by Bo Burnham and stars Elsie Fisher as young Kayla, a girl.
Most anticipated films of the year, 8th grade. Far on the screen,
8th grade by Bo Burnham.
But this movie is definitely a coming-of-age story, probably one of the best.
You're great in the movie.
Oh, thank you so much.
And the movie itself is great, and I'm sure have you been reading all the great reviews of your work?
8th grade is about an 8th grader, and this film is another coming-of-age film, and it's just about this girl named Kayla, and she's trying to get friends, and she's trying to be herself, and she's making YouTube videos. And what really differentiates it from other coming-of-age films, because it sounds like the exact same plot of another cliche coming-of-age story, but the reason why it's not cliche, and the reason why it works so well, and how it's kind of separates itself from the pack, is that it feels relevant because there's lots of social media added into the film. But that kind of sounds tacky, you know, having social media, having Snapchat and that stuff. But the thing is, it doesn't feel tacky because it doesn't revolve around the whole story. It's not like the whole story is like, uh-oh, someone posted a picture of Kayla on Instagram and it's an embarrassing picture and now everyone hates her. It's not that kind of movie. It's more centered on Kayla than the whole aspect of social media and the technology and the generation now. But it's still, those themes are still in the film, but don't feel forced into the film at all. Bo Burnham, the director of the film, he does something different with the coming-of-age genre, and that is tackling the subject matter in a different way. And he adds this element that not much coming-of-age films do, and that is cringe. And you might be thinking, oh, that's not good. Why would he make this film cringy, you know? But the reason why the cringe works in this film is because you care about this character Kayla, this middle schooler, and when embarrassing and awkward things are happening, you care for this character so much that you like cringe, and it's like, oh no, and you put yourself into that situation, and it's like, oh, I would hate being in that situation. And Kayla is a really relatable character. That's one of the great things about Kayla, and there's at least one quality that most people will see in themselves. And in most teen movies, the main character wants to be cool, wants to be popular, and the way they do that is they be mean and rude, and then they get new best friends, and then the old best friend is a dork. But then the new best friend bullies the old best friend, and then the main character is like, oh no, what should I do? I kind of feel bad, but I want to keep my new best friends. And then the old best friend goes up to the main character and it's like, oh, why are you acting like this? You shouldn't be acting like this. This isn't who you are. And then the main character dumps the new best friend and then befriends the old best friend. And that's not what happens in this movie. The reason why Kayla's a great character is because Kayla stays Kayla. And the reason why Kayla works as a character is because Elsie Fisher portrays her so great. Without Elsie Fisher's great performance, you wouldn't really buy into Kayla as a character, and she wouldn't feel as relatable and believable as Elsie Fisher portrays her. Kayla feels like a real teenager. You know, in teenager movies, they cast a 35-year-old guy who looks like he's 18, and that's the main character. In this, it feels like an actual teenager that you could talk to, and that's one of the reasons why you connect and you care for her as a character. And Josh Hamilton, who plays the father, Papa, in this film, he did a good job as well. Their relationship felt very believable, and it wasn't like the dad wasn't the stereotypical dad. It feels like a real dad. And sure, there's kind of dad stereotypes throughout the character, but as a whole, the dad feels like a real father.
One more week of 8th grade, huh? I said 1 more week of 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, huh?
The film is described as a comedy, but I think it also works as well as a drama. Sure, you know, they got some good jokes in there, sprinkled in some good jokes. The chicken nugget kid was great. No, I'm not talking about King Curtis, the legend, the myth, the boy.
In North Carolina, furious with Joy's rule changes, Curtis has left the house. After spending a few hours at his grandma's house eating chicken nuggets, he has decided to return home.
I'm back and I'm ready to tell her who's boss.
In this film, there's a lot of emotional and very heartfelt moments, and it doesn't feel forced in the film because the whole movie has been leading up to the scene, so they feel like they've paid off. The editing was really good in this film. Mainly what I'm talking about is Kayla, how she does her YouTube videos and how that fits into the narrative. Editing makes that what it is and helps Kayla's YouTube videos really fit into the narrative, overlaying other scenes, and I really liked how they did that. The soundtrack was great, but I think it was sometimes overused. It was like, you don't need to keep on putting songs in there. I think some scenes didn't need the soundtrack in it, but I think the soundtrack as music was really good. In a lot of the scenes, it worked well for the scene, but just at times, it felt like it was just too much. One other minor complaint is that the whole film is just 1 week of different events in Kayla's life, and that's kind of what makes it kind of believable, because if it had this one story, then it would just, you know, feel cliched, I guess. A lot of the time, the events come up again and then feel resolved, but one of the events just didn't feel like it got paid off. It was there, and then it just stopped. It just felt like there's a scene that was missing or something, a deleted scene. The beginning, mainly the first act and bits of the second act, feel very fast-paced, and that's due to the editing as well. But I find the third act is a bit slower, but the reason why I didn't like it as much as the first and second is because it's slower than the first and second, then it feels like it's really dragging. Are you rushing or are you dragging? You know what I'm saying? Whiplash, right? And some scenes in the third act felt like they kind of lingered a bit too much. But I will be giving 8th grade a 8 out of 5. No, just kidding. I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. That means it's a good movie, or I could say it's a really good movie. I definitely think you should check it out, and this is definitely one of the better films of 2018. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd.
Is Letterboxd like a thing I don't know about?
I think it's like a film critic thing. I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't know about any of this.
Be sure to keep on liking, commenting if you haven't already. Start subscribing so I can see you next time and so you can see more videos like this.